Yeah! The entire story of One Piece was about a guy who dreamed about becoming the Pirate King. What is the point of becoming the Pirate King when it is revealed that you are the chosen one? You were special from the start. You were destined for greatness from the start. You have the rarest devil fruit in existence. You are a special princess from the start. So what is the point of becoming the Pirate King? The story has no meaning. One Piece should end. It was established that on land, sea and air, Kaido is known as the strongest creature among all living things. After Wano arc, Kaido has been power scaled and no longer is the strongest. During Egghead arc, Gear 5 Luffy was knocked out by Kizaru and Luffy was unable to defeat Luffy, only giving Luffy a boo-boo on his cheek, a little boo-boo on his cheek. Gear 5 Luffy should have one-shotted Luffy, because when Gear 5 Luffy fought against Kaido, well, he turned the strongest creature alive into a goofy cartoon character and mercilessly bullied Kaido, the strongest creature among all living things, to the point that Kaido was a complete joke by the end. You may say that Luffy only toyed with Luffy, but why would Luffy waste precious time when Sentomaru was bleeding to death right next to him? Is Luffy a psychopath? Luffy died and woke up as a god. That's literally what happened. He woke up as a god after dying. He woke up 100 times stronger by dying. All his injuries were healed by dying. Yu Yu Hakusho did the exact same thing with its main character, randomly giving the main character an insane power-up after death. I didn't like it back then, and I don't like it now. Oda did a terrible job foreshadowing Sun God Nika, because the only time Nika was ever mentioned by name was well over 1000 chapters into One Piece. If Oda truly planned the Sun God Nika reveal from the start, then the name Nika would have been thrown around much sooner than Wano arc. Before the Nika retcon, it was established that the Sun God was a false god that lived 400 years ago on Skypeia. The god was a giant snake that was worshipped by the Sentients, and human sacrifices were performed for the so-called god. The giant snake was known as the sun, rain, forest and earth god. Adventurer Nolan killed the god in order to stop a woman from being sacrificed. By killing the god, Nolan proved that the Sentients worshipped a false god. The Sun God Nika and the Sun God on Skypeia literally have no connections to each other at all. Knowing that the Sun God Nika and the giant snake Kashigami have no connections to each other and Nika was never established during Skypeia, it makes no sense that the dance on Skypeia is now known as the Sun God Nika dance. For Kuma, the dance is known as the Sun God Nika dance, yet on Skypeia, where the dance originated from, Nika simply did not exist. The Gorosei claim that Nika always escapes them, yet they allowed Luffy to goof around and train for 2+ years. And the Gorosei didn't really seem to care that much about Nika being awakened during that time. At one point the Gorosei had Nika in their possession, but for some reason a CP9 agent was guarding Nika. Instead of having admirals be the ones to guard the most rare and precious devil fruit in existence, they decided that CP9 will do the job. Spoilers! They lost the fruit. Shanks abandoned Luffy as a child with the rarest, most powerful and precious devil fruit in existence. Shanks went into all the trouble to get Nika, yet he just abandoned Nika the moment Luffy ate the fruit. Then he decided to leave East Blue, leaving Luffy without anyone protecting him. Zoro's bones were broken and he was unable to fight. He was a cripple at that point. Literally out of nowhere, Zoro was given miracle medicine. This medicine healed all his wounds and Zoro was able to fight against the Yonko commander and win. The only side effect of the medicine was Zoro taking a nap for a week. He slept for a week. That was the only side effect of a miracle medicine. Why did the Straw Hats not take the miracle medicine with them when leaving Wano? During Egg arc, Luffy and Kizaru tired each other out and Luffy was unable to fight. If Luffy had the medicine, he would have been able to get back up, turn Gear 5 and continue fighting. I think it's obvious that the medicine was never used again because Oda wrote himself into a corner. Nico Robin, while fighting Black Maria, gained a power-up out of nowhere. She was able to turn into a giant red-skinned devil and was easily able to defeat Black Maria. Not once was it ever established in the story that Nico Robin can turn her skin color red and shapeshift into mythical beings. Zoro, Sanji and Inuarashi were able to defeat the Peace Pirates Yonko commanders. That is very hard for me to believe because before Wano arc, Luffy, who is clearly stronger than Zoro, Sanji and Inuarashi, struggled against Yonko commander Katakuri and was barely able to defeat the guy. The power scaling makes no sense at all. Trafalgar Water D-La used an awakening ability while fighting against Big Mom. This ability was never established and it literally came out of nowhere. Am I really supposed to believe that La would not use an awakening ability turning Dressrosa against Doflamingo? You know Doflamingo, the man he hated the most in the world. He allowed Doflamingo to slap him around, humiliate him in front of everyone. If Love gained his awakening after Dressrosa, then that should have been established in the story. The reveal of Pluton is something that made no sense at all. For Nico Robin to hide the fact that she knew the location of Pluton from the Straw Hats makes Nico Robin seem very untrustworthy. And she kept the reveal of Pluton a secret for no reason at all because in the end she decided to tell everyone about it. Why even keep it a secret for such a long time when you'll end up telling everyone about it? The reaction that the Straw Hats had about Pluton being on Wano was 100% out of character. They simply did not care that Pluton was under Wano and they just left it there for the world government to find, I guess? Frankie not caring about the reveal of Pluton only makes sense if you ignore the fact that Water 7 and Enies Lobby happened in the story. It's almost like Oda forgot all about these two arcs. What was even the point of these arcs if Pluton was so irrelevant in the end? Sun God Nika was never mentioned once from chapter 1 all the way to chapter 1017. But now that Nika actually appeared in the story, it is revealed that there are so many characters that knew about Nika. They just never mentioned Nika ever because that makes sense, right? We are also now getting backstories of characters that knew about Nika and worship him. I personally find it very funny that before the Nika reveal there were a lot of backstories from many different characters, yet Nika was not mentioned a single time. But after Nika is introduced in the story, then literally the first backstory is about Kuma who worships Nika. Kuma's entire backstory is a massive retcon. Let's start with the fact that in the original story, Kuma was never there to witness Luffy punching a world noble in the face. Go look at the manga and the anime and try to find Kuma. Spoilers, he ain't there! Turning Kuma's backstory, it was revealed that Kuma was given orders to wipe out the Straw Hats, but Kuma failed his mission. The world government just gave Kuma a slap on the wrist for that. But when Who's Who failed to defend Nika from Shanks, he was given a life sentence at Impel Town. As if it was his fault that the Gorosei never sent an admiral to get the fruit, instead of sending, a CP9 agent. Giving Buggy a Yonko status made no sense considering the fact that the world government was well aware that Buggy was a level 1 prisoner of Impel Town, and he was no real threat to anyone. Even Mihawk and Crocodile were shocked that out of the 3 of them, Buggy was given the title of a Yonko. I mean, how stupid are the world government? The CP0, when introduced for the first time, were established as the strongest and most secret agency that the world government has. But for some reason, all the CP0 members were hilariously weak. I mean, they were weaker than my grandma. One member got one-shotted by Kaido, another member got killed by Izo, and the third member just ran away. The only strong CP0 members were former CP9 members Kaku, Lutsi, so what was even the point of CP0? They should have just kept CP9 and forgot all about CP0 just based on how weak the CP0 masked agents were. CP0 was supposed to be a secret organization only known by the elite few, yet this super secret organization somehow was infiltrated by a spy. Make that make sense. Why did the Gorosei believe that it would be a great idea to allow a creation of Vegapunk to join CP0 and then think that it would be a genius idea to also send creation of Vegapunk after Vegapunk? The Marines took control of the Pacifistas during EG Dark. Why did they not destroy all the Pacifistas when they had full control over them? Did they actually believe that Vegapunk, the creator of Pacifistas, is unable to take full control of the Pacifistas back? Because that's exactly what happened. Shanks did what Kaido and Big Mom were unable to do. He took out 2 supernovas like they were nothing. Yet somehow Big Mom and Kaido were unable to defeat a single supernova. How does that make any sense? Why is Shanks all of a sudden stronger than a character who was established to be the strongest creature alive? Not just the strongest creature alive, the strongest creature alive on land, sea and air. Shanks taking out Kid and Killer in a few panels made no sense at all considering the fact that during the Wano arc, Kid was able to defeat a Yonko and he lasted in the fight against a Yonko for around 20 chapters. The power scaling makes no sense, like I said before. The Beast Pirates were defeated by a little girl, a girl who just happened to have the ability to brainwash animals. And Wano just happened to be filled with enemies that were animal-human hybrids. Talk about a useless ability in the perfect place. What a nice coincidence. During Wano arc, a new race of people called Lunarians were introduced for the first time, and King is the only known living Lunarian left. So of course it makes sense that the major villains after Wano are Lunarian clones created to replace the 7 warlords. It makes total sense that a new race that was just only introduced during Wano for the first time ever are everywhere right after Wano ended. And before Wano, no one ever mentioned Lunarians a single time. And there were not even whispers of the fact that the world government had Lunarians ready to replace the warlords. The entire story is a massive coincidence.